Christopher Columbus had already been dead for more than a decade when, in the land where today's Mexico City stands, there existed a vast saltwater lake called Texcoco. Rising proudly from the center of this lake was a magnificent city known as Tenochtitlan, the glorious capital of the Aztec Empire that stretched across almost 200,000 square kilometers. The city was linked to the mainland by massive stone causeways and boasted a population in the millions, living in towering homes and worshiping in grand temples. Within these temples, rituals included human sacrifices, though women and children were spared. Around the city, floating gardens thrived on artificial islands, giving the impression of fields drifting upon the lake's surface. Fresh water flowed through aqueducts carved from stone, while its bustling markets were crowded daily with tens of thousands of traders and buyers. Gold dust sparkled in the rivers and lakes, carefully filtered, melted and shaped by skilled hands. For centuries, the Aztecs had flourished, feared for their warrior strength but bound by rigid traditions. They despised ambushes or deceit in battle, believing it dishonorable to strike an enemy without a fair declaration of war. This code, however, would eventually seal their doom when a Spanish adventurer named Hernán Cortés arrived with only a few hundred companions. Cortés had first sought fortune in Hispaniola, then moved on to Cuba, where he gathered resources under Governor Diego Velázquez. In 1519, with just over 600 men aboard 11 ships, Cortés set sail and soon reached the shores of present-day Veracruz, territory belonging to the Aztecs. Confident in their immense power and numbers, the Aztecs saw no threat in such a small landing force. What they could not see was that their ancient legends would work against them. For generations, a prophecy had lingered that one of their departed gods would one day return. When Cortés arrived with chained horses, animals never before seen in these lands, the Aztecs mistook him for that long-awaited god. Instead of resistance, they offered hospitality, food, and vital knowledge about the empire's geography and weaknesses. Cortés exploited this generosity, quietly seeking allies among tribes long oppressed by Aztec rule. Among them were the Tlaxcalans, bitter enemies of the empire who joined forces with the Spanish. Meanwhile, the Aztec Emperor Montezuma II wrestled with doubt and superstition. Unsure whether these pale strangers were invaders or divine beings, he chose diplomacy. He sent lavish gifts of gold and silver, including a massive golden disc representing the sun and a silver one symbolizing the moon, begging the Spaniards to leave. Instead, the display of wealth only inflamed Cortés's greed. He returned a simple helmet and asked that it be filled with gold, claiming his men suffered from a disease curable only by the precious metal. Montezuma obliged, further convincing Cortés of the empire's endless riches. But the Spaniards' hunger for gold was insatiable. Every gift, every offering, only fueled their desire for more. The fate of the Aztec Empire now hung by a fragile thread. What happened next would shake the very foundations of Tenochtitlan. That story we will uncover in the next episode.